Doesn't Kathleen always make you hungry? I'm Roger Rapoport, and I'm here to talk a little bit about filmmaking in Muskegon. Some of you who walked in today may have noticed a guy standing behind a camera out on the sidewalk on Western Avenue. That's Buster Keaton. He got his start here. And he went on to Hollywood to make a lot of movies. And hold on a second, I'm gonna go backwards here. Can we stop it? It's on the run here. Wait a minute. We're out of control. I don't know. Well, we'll just, here. No, let's go back to the beginning. In the beginning. Okay. So this, hold on, I'm going to come back. Working the way it's supposed to. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and give my talk when I'm worrying about. I'm sorry. So, as you all know, Muskegon has never had a feature film ever shot here before, and unless it's had a chainsaw in it. And so, I'm making the first feature film ever produced in Muskegon without a chainsaw, and. As you can tell from what just happened, making movies is kind of an interesting process. It requires quite a bit of creativity, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going on. The first thing that you need to make a movie, of course, is a story. And in this case, it's a story of a man named Steve Faulkner. And Mr. Faulkner is an author who lives in Virginia. And he managed to write a wonderful book based on a true story of a father and son who paddled the entire discovery route of the Mississippi River. And I was the original publisher of this book, and as a result of that, had developed quite an interest in it. And about 2 years after that, I met up with a wonderful cinematographer who is named Bruce Shermer. And Mr. Shermer introduced me to a wonderful actor named Bob Cicchini. And with the man who edited the book, I went ahead with Richard Harris, who was the editor of the book, and we wrote a screenplay based on the story of Steve Faulkner's journey. And what happened was that we spent about a year producing this movie, and I want to show you some of the work that we actually did along the route. Click. This is the story. Hold on a second. It's not clicking. This can only happen to a movie producer. Okay, here we go. Okay. So anyway, what we did was we paddled the entire 1,000-mile discovery route of the Mississippi River from St. Ignace down to St. Louis. And in the process of doing this, we learned a few things. First of all, making movies traditionally has been very, very difficult because it's incredibly expensive not only to shoot the films, but also to distribute them, because every time you put a print in a movie theater, it costs $1,200. And so if you want to distribute it, as we're going to open our movie in 150 theaters, basically you need to have about $100,000 just to make the prints. So it's basically out of the question. Well, this year something changed in the film business. Basically every theater in the country now has a DVD. And that means that you can project a $2 DVD instead of a $1,200 film print. Another thing that you need to make a movie is money. And there are two ways to do that. One is to put up your own money. The other is to have a group of investors. I'm happy to say that all the money for this movie came out of the Muskegon area. My first investor, who should know better and knows a lot about this, about indie films, because he's shown a lot of them, is a man named Bob Goodrich. Mr. Goodrich lives in Grand Rapids, and he owns a chain of theaters, including the Grand Haven 9 and theaters in Holland and many other cities. And he, in turn, introduced me to a number of other exhibitors who have agreed to show the movie. So Water Walk, the movie, is coming out next April in 150 theaters across the Midwest, which I'm very excited about. Not only is it going to be a showcase for Muskegon, where half the movie was shot, but it's also going to be a movie that will have an opportunity to showcase many of our actors, including many who have performed on this very stage. Some of the names will be very familiar to you. Tom Harriman, who's going to be appearing here in a couple of weeks, is in our movie. Judy Johnson, Rem Sprague, and so on, Jackie Bernhardt. And all of this talent is a sort of a testimony to what Muskegon really has to offer. We are an arts center, but our arts are mostly local, meaning that most of the people who perform here are seen locally, and the work doesn't travel very far. The advantage of film, of course, is that it gives us an opportunity to tell our story not only of our beautiful town, but also it gives us a chance to give our actors a chance to gain an opportunity to perform more widely. I'm going to show you now just a little bit of the story, which is as it was shot. This is Father Marquette, who's getting ready for his close-up. And of course, he did the original Journey of 1673. This is Chase Mazer. He is our lead actor. He's from Kalamazoo. He just finished his 5th feature film. We're his 2nd. This is his first lead role. The story begins at a library where Justin Faulkner gets a book and decides that he wants to actually write a term paper on the Marquette journey. And this is a book that he uses for his research. And here he is talking, his mom and dad are kind of thinking about the trip. This was shot, by the way, at the White Lake Beacon. Steve Faulkner is a newspaper editor who just lost his job, and he suddenly has a gift of time. And so he and his son decide to take this trip. This is the Canoe. By the way, if you ever make a movie that has a canoe in it, this is what you want. Let me tell you why. The first night of the trip in Portaging, Wisconsin, that canoe fell off the trailer and landed in a ravine, and you can see it wasn't badly damaged. That was our biggest mishap. The trip begins in St. Ignace on the Upper Peninsula. There's Father Marquette. Okay. And this is the beginning of the journey. This is Lake Michigan, where the journey begins, and some of you may recognize this particular beach. Oddly enough, it's named Père Marquette, as we all know. And as you can see, you can get just about any kind of location you want in Muskegon, which is one of the great things about shooting here. It was a tremendous advantage to us. This is Joe Genia. He's our tribal elder. That was shot at Fisherman's Landing, a wonderful actor. He was in, he played the big chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Some of you may remember him. Did a fabulous job for us. This is some of our photography. The cinematographer for this movie is a Sundance Grand Prize winner named Bruce Shermer. You're going to meet Bruce in just a minute. One of the interesting things about shooting a film on the river is that nobody else does it. About every 10 years, Hollywood makes a river movie. And that's one of the great things about Muskegon is we have a lot of rivers and lakes, so we're the perfect venue although we did shoot on location, we couldn't shoot everywhere. In many, many places, because of weather or time or whatever, we couldn't get the shot we needed. And we always said, well, don't worry about that shot, we'll get it in Muskegon. And we did. We just came back here and picked it up. Because Muskegon looks. That's Judy Johnson, who's acted on this very stage. Many of you know Judy. That's actually the Watermark Center there, where they're about to build a $25 million film studio. This is one of the portages on the trip. One of the tough things about this trip, why no one else has ever done it, except Marquette, and his team of voyagers, is guess what? You have to do a lot of portaging, which isn't much fun. 40 miles of it. This was shot on the Muskegon River. If you know Pine Street, just below Croton Dam, that's the location for those of you who paddle down there. And that's Bob Cicchini and Chase Mazer. One of the interesting things about shooting a water movie like this is that you have a problem called shaky cam. We are using the very same cameras that are recording this today, Sony's, but their cameras aren't shaking. Ours, of course, when you're on the water, you have a problem. So one of our boat drivers in Muskegon came up with a great idea. Pontoon boats, it turns out, have legs on them. So we just put down the legs and they hit the bottom, and it gives you a stable platform for shooting your movie. This is Portage, Wisconsin. And this is the point where the Wisconsin and the Fox Rivers come together, and they're entering the Wisconsin right there. Bonding. How many people can tell where this shot was taken? Anybody? Come on. Duck Lake, right? One of our favorite locations in the movie. These two actresses, by the way, who you just saw, can we go backwards? This is their first film role, and we have, I'm very proud to say, 50 actors in this movie and about 300 background actors. About half the actors, more than half the actors in movies in this film have never been in a movie before. So for many of them, it's their first shot at getting behind a camera, and it's something that has been tough to do in Muskegon. That's why a lot of our best talent leaves town. And we, of course, would like to stop that brain drain, very much so. Okay. So this is just what it's like to be paddling the route. This is where they entered the Mississippi River. It takes just about a month to paddle there, 300 miles in Lake Michigan, 200 miles across Wisconsin on 2 rivers, and then finally you hit the Mississippi at Prairie du Chien. And it's a very, very tough route because of all the large barges, as you can imagine. This is one of the towns here. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you just a little bit. You've seen what it looks like in front. Let's go behind the camera a little bit. I want to show you some of the cast and crew. One of the great things about movie making is you have to hire a lot of people, a lot of technical people and crew. And we've hired some wonderful people, from makeup artists to sound designers and so on. And I'll show you that in just a sec. These are some of the dams, locks and dams. This is in Gutenberg, Iowa. Of course, there's a Gutenberg Bible in Gutenberg, Iowa. One of our bookstores. We've spent a lot of time in bookstores. They read a lot. That was Frosty Oasis' Tom Harriman, Father Tom Harriman. You all know the well-known priest. That's at St. Jean's Church here in Muskegon. Mona Shore's band. This is at the Y, where they're learning how to swamp a canoe. That's my daughter in the middle there. She came from London for this part. Jackie Bernhardt, who many of you just saw in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat and many other plays. Annie, Get Your Gun. That's part of our crew. That's Megan Trank in the front. She's our script supervisor. Again at St. Jean's. This is Bruce Shermer, our cinematographer. And some of our camera boats. That's Megan again. She came back from Brooklyn, back home to Muskegon to shoot. So that's one of our goals, is to get people to come back here and work in the movie industry. Richard Reilly, many of you will recognize him. He was just in Bridesmaids. He's been in over 200 films. That's our director and star. Yeah, of course you need bait to shoot a river movie, so. That's Ed, our local cinematographer, Ed DeYoung. Mona Shore's band, and that's the Chronicle. This is Great Lakes Marina. One of these actresses who normally works in Detroit, Liz Nolan, she was very happy to have this part because it meant she didn't have to drive to Detroit to audition. She loved that. This is the pontoon boat with the legs I was telling you about. So, if any of you want to make a movie in Muskegon, you can see how easy it is. All the money's here, all the actors are here, all the crew's here. And the best part of the story is we have one shot left as a car crash, and I went to the junkyard yesterday to pick the car, and the junkyard owner gave me a choice of 5 cars. So is it going to be the Pinto, the Malibu, the Jimmy, right? Is it going to be a Honda Accord? You have to wait till next April to find out which car we're going to crash. But if any of you are in Dalton Township on October 2nd, give me a call, okay, 740-0283, and I'll give you our secret location for the car crash, and who knows, maybe we'll get you in as an extra, okay?